There is a hunger crisis happening in America right now. It's made more severe by the pandemic. Feeding America is the largest hunger relief organization in the country, and it estimates that at least 50 million Americans could go hungry this year. Feeding America has seen a 60% increase in need since March. And without new federal aid, the hunger crisis is expected to get far worse. So with me now is the president and CEO of Feeding South Florida, Paco Vélez. Thank you so much for waking up early with us and talking to us about this. Listen, I understand you told my producers that 40% of the people you're seeing are coming to food banks for the first time. How are you keeping up with what are huge numbers of people who are lining up for food?
There are huge numbers. A lot of families are really struggling during this time. The average is about 40% here in South Florida. We're looking at closer to 50% of the folks that are coming through these lines are struggling to put food on the table. The government passed, the federal government passed the CARES Act, and part of that CARES Act was the Coronavirus Food Assistance Program, which has provided commodities from local farmers and ranchers, or farmers and ranchers across the country, through distributors. And we've been able to meet some of that need through that program. We're also purchasing product. Food banks across the country are purchasing product in record numbers. But we're seeing that response from the government diminish as the CARES Act looks to expire here at the end of December.
So what is your message for those lawmakers? I mean, we've heard the back and forth and the arguments from both sides, why they're not pushing forward. What do you have to say to them?
What I have to say, first and foremost, is there are people. There are real people that are being affected by this pandemic. Through no fault of their own, they find themselves without any income, with no job, no resources. At the beginning of this pandemic, we saw resources coming in to help families, to help put food on the table. We saw 160 tractor trailer loads a week to help here in South Florida. That's 160 tractor trailers that you see on the highway every single week to help our families. As this pandemic has gone on, we find ourselves here in phase 4 of the CFAP program. We're only receiving 14 tractor trailer loads per week to try to meet this need. And zero resources for our families, no unemployment benefits or extended unemployment benefits, and no stimulus check. So what I ask our federal elected officials to do is really come together and understand that there are families, their lives at stake, there's homes at stake, there are kids and our older adults that really don't know how to put food on the table or keep a roof over their heads.
You know, I often thought about, as this started, the elderly and across the country who would get meals from groups like Meals on Wheels, and not only would they get food, it would be the only person they would see often. And the personal element of here, you've given us a lot of information, but talk to us about the families you're meeting, the children you're seeing, and the challenge that they're facing beyond just the statistics, what they're feeling.
So you talked about social isolation for our older adults, and that's a huge issue. That leads to depression and leads to a lot of other issues for our older adults. They used to come out and go to congregate meal sites, just fellowship with other folks and play dominoes, play bingo, play all these other games, and just interact with folks. And right now, our older adults aren't able to get out and do that. So there's an isolation there. And we have our home delivery program, and they're saying that there is a depression there. What we're seeing from our families that are going through the lines is definitely a sense of desperation. There's a sense of fear and just an unknown, and it's been like that for quite some time. And now there's just a huge frustration that's building up because there are no resources coming down from the federal government. There's no end in sight to this pandemic. Yeah, we're looking at a vaccine, but we don't know what that rollout's going to look like, who's going to get it, and when they're going to get it. And our families just really need to find some kind of hope in order to get that, to continue to move on. The holidays is especially difficult for families. trying to put food on the table. Everything, all the messaging is centered around food, and that's the key ingredient that our families are missing from the holiday. They have family, but they really can't get together as a family based on CDC guidelines, and the only thing they have left is that food. So we're trying hard across the country to ensure that food banks have that food to get it onto the tables of families. But our families truly are desperate and don't know what else to do.
Quickly before we go, I remember in school and, for years at work, there would be the canned food drives to support families that need help. I understand that's not the best way to support now. What would be the best way that people who want to help, who have just a little extra, that can offer that?
So first of all, this coronavirus food assistance program, the funding did not go to food banks at all, went straight to distributors. And so we really could use your help. First and foremost, contact your elected official. Let them know that there are real people behind these numbers. Second is contact your local food bank. Go to feedingamerica.org. There you can find any food bank in your area, and donate your funds if you can, and definitely donate your time if you can, and really help put food on the table for so many families that are struggling.
Paco Vélez, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for what you are doing. I know that there is an army of people behind you hoping to and working to feed the people there in South Florida, and send our thanks to them as well.
Will do. Thank you.
All right, make sure that you, for more information about your local food bank, head to feedingamerica.org. Christy?
Yeah, good people out there doing good work. So you, I'm sure, might have recognized the emotional, even the physical toll